All right, Bullheaded episode 8 is officially on air. I'm Chaz with P. Bush and Zhu. We are that much closer to that double digits episode 10, and we have some real live sports to talk about for what feels like the first time in forever. So we're pumped about that. We've got the NBA and the NFL to discuss. Like we said, if you didn't catch last week's podcast, you could tell at least one of us is not much of a baseball guy, so we stuck away from that one. Actually, before we get into it, Zoo, did you do your homework like we asked you to?
Oh, yeah, of course, man. Of course.
Nice.
Man, we talking about the NBA and NFL, man. You compare that to the MLB, man. Come on. NBA did their homework. Look at that bubble. So beautiful.
Well,
Zero positive
was
testing.
to watch an MLB game.
Oh, to watch the NFL. Oh, nah. Stop.
Oh, man. Come on, dude.
Oh,
Hey, man, watch a White Sox game. They're on fire right now.
What are they, 5-1?
Yeah, they are.
I saw
they won 5 or I think they won 6 in a row. They did lose last night 1-0, but perfect game for you. Should have watched it, Zoo. It would have been 1-0. It would have been great, man.
But so clearly we are not talking to MLB because Andy's already laughing his ass off just thinking about how terrible it is. So we're going to go to the NBA, our bread and butter, and move to the NFL at the end of this episode. Again, just recapping, that much closer to our 10th episode. So please be sure to share, listen, and subscribe so we get to that milestone feat with a lot of celebration. So here we go. First topic of the day. It is around the NBA. Like we said, it is going to be with some bubble talk. Big surprise here. I'm going to start it off this way because we have a few that we could discuss here. I want to talk about big surprise that you've had in the bubble so far. There's a lot to talk about, good and bad. Pat, I see you smirking and smiling over there. So why don't you kick it off? P. Bush, what has been your biggest surprise of the NBA bubble so far?
I'm going to go with arguably the hottest team in the bubble right now, one that Zoo and I actually disregarded. The Phoenix Suns, man.
We disrespected them. Yeah, we disrespected them. They were the 13th out of 13 teams out in the West, to start the bubble, right? These guys have gone on a 4-game winning streak. They just destroyed the Pacers today. They beat the Clippers. That's impressive.
They beat them by 15. I couldn't believe it. And then, we got obviously my man Devin Booker hitting that impossible shot over Paul George, man. It was – I don't even think LeBron could hit that shot, but we don't even need to go there. Dude.
Stop. LeBron can hit that shot easily, man. He's done that multiple times. Yes.
You know PG, though, was like another impossible
LeBron does that to PJ for his livelihood, man. In his livelihood in the East and now in the West. He's going to be doing that again, especially Paul George. Like, Paul George get game winners hit on him all day for some unknown reason. Dame Lillard.
He was scarred when he saw that shot go up by Booker, man. But, hey, I will say that, when I was saying, a couple podcasts ago that Devin Booker wasn't really getting that much help, DeAndre Ayton and Ricky Rubio have both really.
I told you, Ricky Rubio and DeAndre Ayton. I told you he had a squad, man, and he finally showed. I told you he had a good supporting squad. That's what I said. He had a solid team. That's exactly what I said.
They just don't have experience. They don't have experience, but I will say, hey, man, they're stepping up. They're beating some very solid teams. They took out both the Mavs and the Clippers with the same score, 117-115. But dude. They're a game, I think, after winning the Pacers or beating the Pacers today, they're 2 games out of the 8th spot and 1 game out of the 9th. They are in serious contention to be in that play-in game, or even I don't think that they would be able to build a 4-game lead to obviously just hold the 8th spot.
No,
they have a legitimate
game.
chance. Yeah, they're probably going to have to play in. I think as the 9th seed, they'll have to beat the 8th seed twice to get in, and then the 8th seed has to beat the 9th seed once, right? So, dude. But I've been watching the Suns. They've honestly been arguably one of the more fun teams to watch. I've always been a Booker fan. But talk about a surprise, man. We disregarded them completely. We were like, haha, we even kind of disregarded the Pelicans and everybody below them. And hey, Suns are moving up. I think they just took over the 11th spot. They may have passed the Kings and the Spurs, I believe. But dude, slowly but surely, I'd be so pumped if they even got into the play-in game to play against either the Blazers or Grizzlies, in my opinion. But that's been my surprise is those Phoenix Suns, man. They're hot.
Yeah, they are surprised. I am shocked. They were prepared. They are young. Monty Williams doing a hell of a job coaching this team, especially such a young team right now. And right now they have a great opportunity with the Grizzlies. Jaren Jackson Jr. tore his knee. So that 8th spot right now is wide open for a lot of teams in the West. But man, I'm gonna go East. I'm going to the 6th side from Drake, the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah,
I slept on the Toronto Raptors so hard after Kawhi Leonard left. You have a superstar player and you leave, you pretty much disregard him for the championship team. I'm looking at this Toronto team right now. Pascal Siakam, that dude's a baller. But dude, I'm gonna give a huge shout out to OG Anunoby from Indiana Hoosiers, baby. OG Anunoby has been an unbelievable player this year, who's playing an integral role this year. Like this guy's starting now. He's like baby Siakam this year. But
kind of, yeah.
This guy is still young. This guy. Unbelievable defense. I saw this guy lock down. He locked down LeBron James. I'm a huge LeBron James. I think LeBron James is the greatest player of our generation. Dude, that lineup with OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam, you got these 6'7", 6'9" guys with long arms, elite athletes, and they can play defense.
They play two ways.
Yeah, I'm watching this Toronto team just have a butt whooping on the Lakers, man. It was like a big brother butt whooping his little brother, man. I was like, what is going on, man?
Dude, I don't see the Lakers as like the favorite personally.
Okay, just
I don't see them as the favorite.
It's not that. We're talking about the bubble regular season. They secured the first seed. So LeBron and AD just taking naps out in the bubble. They're not taking games seriously.
Touche. That's true. They did lock up the 1 seed.
Yeah.
But I still think that once a couple other teams really like form, like as we've seen, the Raptors are clearly coming into their own, even without their Finals MVP and Kawhi Leonard. I got to give a brief shout out to Lowry too, man. He's been playing well. He's not afraid to get in people's faces. I think he had a thing with Aaron Gordon yesterday, getting up in his face. He's kind of a little pit bull on the floor. He's kind of a chubby guy, but hey, the man can ball. Everyone's kind of disregarded the Raptors, but no, I agree with Zhu. OG Anunoby has been, and as an Indiana guy,
I want him on the Bulls. I'm greedy. I want him on the Bulls.
I want him on the Bulls too, dude. I wish, but he could be one of the best two-way players in the league in a couple years. He's just got to stay healthy, man. Yeah, that's for him. I know he's had some knee problems in the past, which is never something you want to see, but he's really come into his own on a team that really didn't give him that much of a chance when they were making the finals run. Obviously, he was just kind of in and out. But this year, man, he's really stepped up, and they're definitely a big surprise. I mean, I think everyone just kind of disregarded the Raptors.
Yeah, shout outs to Masai Ujiri. Because the San Antonio Spurs, when they traded Kawhi Leonard, they asked for OG Anunoby. And then Masai was like, You got no leverage? You got no leverage? I'm gonna keep OG Anunoby. I'm gonna keep Pascal Siakam. Because he knew Kawhi Leonard, that wasn't a guaranteed thing to stay for an entire year, for the rest of his contract, for his next contract extension. So that dude was building for the future. What a ring. I'm like, oh my Lord, these guys know what they're doing in Toronto. Like we're talking Canada, and they're running one of the best basketball organizations in the NBA. Like,
and it's hard to bring players in. It's hard to sign people because they don't want to go through the whole moving country to country, the whole tax situation.
Canada taxes.
Dude, and they still somehow get it done. They're great at drafting. They know that that's their best option, right? That's the best way to build a team. What?
Yes. Van Fleet? That dude was like a second rounder. I think he was undrafted. Like this dude.
I think he was undrafted, yeah. Dude, they're building their team well.
My goodness.
Dude, it's funny how
30, man. What the heck is going on?
Dude, it's just funny watching the bubble. There's so many teams that I thought were going to be doing better, have kind of, taken a bit of a step back. And a lot of teams that just kind of come out of nowhere, whether or not they, more so in the West, but whether or not they can actually make the playoffs. But the way that you're just seeing the teams progress is very beneficial, especially for having really not played basketball for 5 months now.
Oh, yeah.
And, they've come into the game in the past couple of weeks. And with such a young team, it's almost like the Suns have nothing to lose, or, they're just playing. They're having fun. They're not getting booed when, I'm sure they're used to getting booed even at home. Let's be honest. But dude, it's been really fun to watch the bubble. I will say, just given the past week or so, it's definitely been weird watching live sports. I don't know. It doesn't feel 100% right to me. But I love seeing my man Lil Wayne on the virtual fan base at the Lakers game yesterday. It's a fun dynamic.
Yeah, this NBA, some of the best NBA regular season basketball ever. But you know why? They cut out the 8 bad teams. There are legitimately no super garbage teams right now. And that's why the NBA product right now, I think it's superior. It is superior. With all these days going on, this entire day, you can watch games at 2 o'clock right now.
They better not cut the Bulls out of the league, though, man. They better not cut them out of the league.
I don't know. Maybe that's incentive to get it done because, my Lord, I do not miss them right now. I'm watching great basketball. Imagine if the Bulls were playing right now. They'd be losing by 40.
40 a night.
Jim Boylan, Mr. Potato Head. I don't want to see that guy coaching any team right now.
Do you think this is a good testament to possibly moving to a 16-team general playoff with no conferences?
Oh, absolutely.
I think this is a good way.
This could work. I think this could work. And with the West, man, there's so many more better teams in the West. I'm sorry. It's just all the young teams. That's all the up and coming
teams. Yeah,
you got Devin Booker with the Phoenix Suns, Zion with the Pelicans, and you got Ja Morant with the Grizzlies.
Thank you for not leaving them out.
Where are the young bloods in the East? I see nobody.
Yeah, there's some young players that could really start stepping up very soon and becoming
this stars. NBA unbelievable. March Madness style unbelievable.
It's actually a pretty good segue into what the next topic is. Before even going that, though, and this is also kind of a segue in its own right, I'm surprised now that you guys pointed out biggest surprise individual player in Indiana, TJ Warren. First 3 games of the bubble dropped 53 points, 34 points, 32 points.
Oh,
yeah, he balled out, man. And North Carolina State guy, right? If I remember correctly, he played NC State.
I remember him in college. I
remember seeing him as an 8-9 seed playing. If I remember South Carolina, I could be
March
wrong
Madness,
there.
baby. March
Madness. Dude, the man can score. And the Pacers, man, talk about a balanced team. I believe, was Sabonis their only All-Star this year, right? Yeah, not even Oladipo. They have a balanced team, but hey, got to watch out for those red hot Suns, man. They're just riding the wave right now.
They traded him though. Yeah. They didn't want to sign him for a new contract.
Right.
Looking like fools right now.
And now he's earning it. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Cheap contract, man.
But it goes into what you were saying earlier about all these young guys in the NBA. It goes perfectly into the next topic. If there was one player in the NBA who was not currently an all-star, who is it that has star potential? So what non-all-star has the potential not to be an all-star, but to be a star in the NBA? Pat, you started the first segment. So Zoo, we're going to go to you for the first one. Who do you think it would be?
Michael Porter Jr. This was a guy during high school. I was watching high school highlights because I was recruiting for my Bulls. I was just doing some due diligence work against some YouTube highlights. I'm like, look at this dude. He's 6'10", light-skinned Kevin Durant right now. This is a 6'10", light-skinned KD. And I'm looking at this guy. He could dribble. He was 6'9", 6'10", shooting 3-pointers. That silky smooth jump shot. I was hyped. He went to college, back injury, not looking good. I'm like, oh, maybe the Bulls could swoop a little. This guy didn't play in college. People got back injury. I want upside in the draft. You win with superstars. And this guy dropped to the Bulls, and the Bulls are like, nah, this dude's back. This dude's back. I was like, ooh, must be real back. He dropped down real low to the Denver Nuggets. But in my mind, when they took Wendell Carter Jr., solid player. Not gonna hate on Wendell. He can play some defense. He was called Al Horford. I don't want Al Horford on my team. I want Kevin Durant. I don't care if he has a 50-50 chance of busting. I'm taking that opportunity because you got to take risks to win titles. Look at Masai Ujiri taking risks. He got a title. You know what the Bulls would have done? Nah, we would have passed on this deal. And that's what the Bulls, they passed on the light-skinned Kevin Durant, and that dude getting buckets right now. Back-to-back 30-point games, dropping 3-pointers. He's shooting 40% he's shooting 40% from 3 this year.
Double-doubles, too.
Dude, he's getting double-digit rebounds. Not much of a passer, but I don't care. This guy's a straight-up bucket right now, man. We forget this guy's a rookie. He took a redshirt year last year, so he's a rookie. He played this year. He missed a lot of games, but when he played, he was balling, and now he's starting. And with Jamal Murray sitting right now, he's getting an opportunity to show his offensive skill set, and it makes the Denver Nuggets ooh, that's a little scary. Because this is the guy that he could drop 30 on legit players like Paul George. He's 6'10". He's 6'10", man. I'm watching this guy play. I'm like, oh, I was so right, but dang. Oh, I want my Bulls to have this dude. 6'10"?
You should have sent Jerry Reinsdorf your notes, man, and maybe he would have made the pick.
Man, the Bulls are very risk averse, man. They took the safe guy.
That ain't the damn truth.
Yeah. Like I want A+ players. I don't want B players. Al Horford, come on.
But I think everybody was kind of very skeptical with Michael Porter Jr. And if I'm being honest, he was my pick as well. I think I know that his comparison was Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
I think he can shoot better, but I'd say he could become more of like an Anthony Davis type player, in my opinion. He's still a great rebounder, which I don't think Kevin Durant can rebound, right? But we're talking about being physical inside. Michael Porter Jr. can still do that. I think he weighs like 215, 220 at 6'10". If he bulked up a little bit, man, he'd be a better version of Anthony Davis if he can be making those threes consistently. But dude, since Zoo, you picked Michael Porter Jr., I'm going to give Jaren Jackson Jr. some love as well, because I feel so bad that, Andy and I were texting this weekend, and we were like, dude, this man's tearing his meniscus. This guy was arguably one of the hottest young players in the bubble and even in the league, right? He's putting up 30 a game. He's complimenting with Ja. If he's able to come back from that knee injury and get back to 100% and still continue to develop his game, I think he'll end up becoming one of the best players in the league and as a great complementary player. But, there's other names you got to throw out there. Maybe like a Jaylen Brown's another possibility. He's been playing relatively well, averaged 20 a game this year. But, I have to agree with Zoo on this one, man. I'm going to go with Michael Porter Jr. I think he's putting up 37 and 12, like 30 and 10. He blows my mind sometimes because everybody passed on him.
Yeah.
And I know we were even talking about
good organizations. Because I remember the Clippers, and they're great at drafting because of that legend Jerry West passed on this dude. I was like, ooh, that back must be real bad, man.
Right.
So, these are some good organizations that passed up on him.
Yeah, exactly. And I think when we were talking about teams last week that need to make a move to take that next step, right? And I threw out the Nuggets because, they have a Jokic. They've got Jamal Murray. They needed a guy who could just put up points and is a prolific scorer. And Michael Porter Jr. is somewhat of filling that role right now. That if he comes into his own, he's 20, 21 years old. He probably just turned 21. I'm not 100% sure on that. But
yeah, he's 2 years younger than us.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
That's crazy.
Dude, which blows my mind. We're getting to the age where everyone that's really good at sports is younger than us, and it just blows my mind. But sorry, sidetrack there. But dude, if he can come into his own, that I don't think Nuggets need to make another move. They have a young guy who can put up 25 a game for you. He's probably not going to be averaging 30 quite yet. But if he could put up a cool 20, 25, complimenting Jokic, he can run the floor, he can shoot, he can rebound. He could do everything on that offense with Jamal Murray running the point up there with Will Barton. Dude, that team could take the next level. I would say probably more so next year than this year, just because I think Porter's still getting his legs underneath him. Obviously, hasn't taken him that long, but who knows how long he can keep it going. But hey, you never know, dude. If he gets hot, they can make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they're very well coached.
They're Toronto West. They're
the Toronto of the West. I 100% agree with that.
Like Denver, that's a nobody city, man. I'm sorry.
It's growing.
I'm sorry. Like relative to the big cities, man, They're too good. They're just so good. They're great. Yeah. They got Bobo with like the late second round pick for an upside. That's what I like when you draft for an upside. Like Bobo, if he busts, who cares? Like he was drafted in the 40s. Like who cares if he busts? But now he balling too. I'm like, God, the Denver Nuggets should be excited. I'm excited for the Denver Nuggets because of this guy, man.
Yeah. I love seeing a new team kind of come into its own, and a team that can possibly be making a big impact on the league, especially a team that is not hosting. Like I feel like the NBA kind of puts its weight on one or two players and kind of has them carry the NBA. Yeah. And when you're seeing a team that comes in that is not necessarily does not necessarily have one of those guys, like obviously, Kawhi, monster, but no one really expected the Raptors to like win it all automatically.
Oh, I lost money betting on them. I lost money.
Exactly. And it was really fun to watch a new team win, especially with the whole Warriors dynasty the past 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, so
seeing new teams come in, obviously just adding new talent all the time. And like Zoo said earlier, the West is going to be exciting to watch in the next couple of years, man. It's going to be
the West can be
awesome.
beautiful. The East is pathetic. I'm
Trash.
sorry. It's so pathetic, man. Like
They need to
we
make
get
moves.
Orlando every year in the playoffs. I do not want to see Orlando play anymore. I'm sorry.
I
we
don't even
need
think I'd
a
watch the
team
first
to
round of the
fill that
East.
void. Yeah,
I don't even think I'd watch the first round of the East. There's no way.
Dude, Giannis got a bye week, man. I'm sorry.
Giannis he does. Yeah,
dude.
It's like not playing on Wild Card Weekend, honestly.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
But
I just gotta say though, both guys picking MPJ. I noticed no low hanging fruit here. No Zion. That name was not even discussed.
I didn't want to pick Zion or Ja just because I feel like that's kind of where everyone went personally. And I think everyone already sees them as somewhat of stars. But that's why, like, Jaren Jackson Jr.
Zion is a star. Zion's a star already. Do you know who ESPN talks about every night? Zion Williamson. Even John.
Because they're trying to find a new face of the NBA, man.
Yeah.
As LeBron's phased out, they're trying to make Zion the face of the NBA. And I think personally they're forcing it a little early, especially just with how they're playing in the bubble. I don't know. And we just need to see more of them. I need to see them in a full season before I hand them over the NBA crown, if you want to call it that. You know,
he's snatching it, though. He's snatching it.
Oh, stop.
Dude, he's snatching it, man.
Snatching it from LeBron quite yet, man.
Well, LeBron going to keep
trying, but Kawhi doesn't care enough.
Nah, that dude's so boring. I'm sorry. I'm not a big Kawhi Leonard.
Because he just goes in, does his job, and he just beasts, and, like, he just carries teams.
This is entertainment, man. This is entertainment. I want to be entertained. If I watch a Kawhi Leonard sometime, I'm like, man, this dude is just so monotone, so boring, doesn't talk. Not a leader.
He's got the best laugh in the NBA, though. We can both agree on that.
That is his career highlight off the court. Him laughing like a robot.
Either that or heavily trying to get high fives and then just getting completely rejected, and then he just like stares the people down. And he's a character, man, but he doesn't know it. That's the best way I could describe it. He's funny, but he doesn't know it.
I got to throw this out there because you guys named 3 of the 5 players on my expansion team. So I want to flash debate real quick. I'll take 30 seconds on this. My starting 5 in my Straight Up Sports Twitch NBA franchise. Ready? Right. De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Edwards, Kawhi Leonard, Jaren Jackson Jr., Mitchell Robinson. And on the bench, Michael Porter Jr. and Devontae Graham.
Ooh,
Scale of 1 to 10. Scale of 1 to 10.
I give it like an 8.5, 9. I think that's good. I mean, I don't know. Jaylen Brown, I think, is a possibility. I mean, I'm not sure, but dude, that's a fire lineup, man.
My Bulls will take that lineup right now. I give it an 8. A lot of young players that have upside. We're talking.
Exactly.
I'm a huge fan of De'Aaron Fox. I think he's an all-star caliber point guard in the future. My Lord, man,
super athletic, so quick.
Oh my, come on, Bulls, come on, man. God,
I'm in the boat with you, man. If the Knicks could take it in a heartbeat, trade everyone. Keep Mitchell Robinson. He's already there, and then get everyone else in.
Yeah. Oh man.
But so that's what we've got for basketball. Thanks for the quick little debate. NFL now, we're moving into the last sport of this segment. The NFL, we have seen a lot of opt-outs. At the time of recording this podcast was the official deadline for opt-out. So players no longer can have the ability to opt out, but we saw a lot of big names opt out like CJ Mosley, Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung. These are big names in the NFL. So it begs the question too, especially with other guys still getting sick. Should the NFL have a season? Are we in a spot that we could say, yes, let's get NFL football going for this coming season? Because we're just about a month away from when it would kick off.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah. I can't believe it's already August, let's be honest.
But P. Bush, I'll go to you. Should we even have it in the first place? Should we have the season start?
You know, I think I would love it, right? Obviously, just as a fan, playing fantasy football is obviously one of the highlights of the year. I think with all these players opting out, I mean, obviously NFL teams are huge and there are some big names. Dante Hightower was probably the biggest one that stood out to me, Patrick Chung as well. But I think that like the MLB has been a pretty good testament in the fact that in the past like 10 days, you've seen, there were a lot of teams that were having issues with players. One person gets it spreads to the entire team, right? But it seems like in the past couple of days, things have kind of died down, and it's almost like the MLB's got it under control. And that's a sport that has a lot more travel, more games being played all the time, right? There's a lot of interaction. Obviously, it's not as physical, but you got to remember that the NFL only you play once a week, man. So you're really just making sure that your players are doing the right things throughout the week, and then making sure that they take measures on game day, whether that be Thursday, Sunday or Monday, whichever, to kind of distance the players. Maybe if people are not suiting up for the game or they're, a deep reserve, put them in the first row of the stand so there's less people sitting on the sideline, right? There's certain things that you could do to make the game playable, or at least make the owners and some of the players even more comfortable with getting on the field and playing the game. But I think they just need to make some precautionary measures, just so that the players can be a little bit more comfortable. But I'd love to see him play.
Yeah, dude, I want the NFL. This is selfish of me because it is so much harder to get a bubble. Like I don't even know how they could do a bubble with NFL teams, man. Like you got over like 50 players, man. They got all this staff. Like there's just so many people. Like I don't think it's possible to make a bubble. And I feel like the NBA with the you have a limited amount of people to make a bubble in. They could do that in the regular season next year, which I think it get executed based on what they're doing right now. But for NFL, I want it back because I love my fantasy football. I need it. I've been mock drafting. I want it. So selfish.
Of course.
And oh my Lord, I just want the NFL back to see what happens this year with all these changes, man. But selfishly, I want it. Lots of NFL teams want it. But I feel like it's going to be a disaster.
Exactly.
I feel like it's going to be a disaster. Like, oh, COVID this, COVID that. Everyone getting sick. Like, I feel like it might get shut down within a couple of weeks of it starting, which I hope it doesn't.
Right.
But I feel like the commissioner right now, they don't they're just not taking it as strict as
they don't know what they're doing.
I don't know what they're doing right now.
They don't know what they're doing.
I wouldn't know what to do. I don't know how to handle all these people.
I'm not saying I do any better.
32 teams, the amount of players on a team, the amount of staff, like the training, all that, like doctors and all that. So the entire organization, like for a team, like I don't know how much they could cut it down. And like obviously no fans in the stadium. That's the first step, but everything
weird.
else.
It's weird, especially with an NFL game, man. You hear the crowd as they're driving
around. We make fake noises all good. The NBA right now, fake noise. I don't need fans at the games. I don't need any fans at NBA games.
It's still weird to watch. It's weird to watch.
I love the game right now. I love the game right now.
Dude, could you imagine the Super Bowl with no cameras clicking? Like it'd just be a weird thing to watch. It just doesn't feel normal.
No, you know what will feel normal? I'm gonna put it on mute. I'm gonna bring up my fantasy football team, and it'll feel real normal. If I got Ezekiel Elliott running the football, oh yes, I don't need fans. I'll see 100 yards and 2 tutties. I love it, man. That's all I want.
Zoo, do you think that would you rather them not play the season versus play like 2-3 games and then be like, all right, we're shutting down? Like, I feel like that's just false hope, and it would just toying with our.
I want false hope because I want to draft my fantasy football team. I don't care if it gets shut down. I want to see my new team. I need to regain my crown, so I want the false hope.
You know what? I mean, obviously I can't disagree with that. Like I said, fantasy football is easily one of the highlights of my year.
Oh yes,
dude, I think. Like, what do you think that they could do on the field? Like, I think that they're going to have to, obviously implement some sort of, I don't know if this has been in discussions, but a built-in mask to the helmet, right? Like, the only good thing is that they're kind of covered when it comes to their face, right? So, obviously, there is a lot of contact in the sport. It's football.
Yeah. But
the amount of, exchanging of germs, if you just want to call it that, right? Yeah. Giving the virus away. If they could just get, one of those, I think they call it Gators, right? Where it just kind of comes up to right above the nose. You see a lot of MLB players wearing those right now. But if they could have that somehow connected to the helmet, I just don't. It's a lot more equipment to work with.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the hardest sports. And I think that talking to some other people, I think college football is going to be the one that's guaranteed to be canceled. Just because, one, it is football, and two, you have kids going back to school, sitting in a dorm with hundreds of other kids in the dorm right next to you.
Yeah.
I think that football's being so physical, I think that might play a factor. But then again, hockey is pretty physical, right? So it's who knows? It's really hard to make the call. I think in the end, Roger Goodell is just going to have to.
He got a hard job, man.
He got a really hard job.
Yeah.
Right now it's not fun for him. He's definitely not. I'm sure. Hey, he's worth a ton of money. He's still making a lot.
Get it done.
I'm sure
You're a multi-millionaire. You're making bank.
He's
You better
brilliant.
get it done.
I think he's worth over $1 billion. But dude, look, the NFL has always had problems with just management and ownership, and the players and owners. Sometimes they don't get along, and this is only going to expedite that. And it's such a weird situation. I don't even know what to say about it. We can make predictions all day, but in the end, Roger Goodell is going to make the call when he discusses with the owners. And sadly, the players are kind of out of options now that the opt-out clause is out or is expired, right, today?
Yeah.
Is it at the end of the day, Chaz, or is it?
No, it was 3 p.m. today.
3 p.m. So it's done. Yeah, there you go. I don't know, man. I don't know what else to say about it.
Well, I'm going to be an optimist. Roger Goodell is going to get it done with his safety measures. The NFL season will go all the 17 weeks in the regular season.
Let's hope, man.
Oh, I'm praying.
My Bears are going to make the Super Bowl.
Oh, stop. Okay, that's just being too optimistic. The Bears making the Super Bowl? Stop it. Oh, my Lord.
You heard the reports about Trubisky, man? They've
What?
been rather
He still
positive.
sucks? He still sucks?
No, he's put on so much freaking muscle, man.
Oh,
A lot of
all
muscle.
that muscle ain't going to fix his arm.
He's got a good arm. What are you talking about? He just needs to work on his timing. His timing and his O-line that's literally
Yeah, but the O-line. Mitchell Trubisky needs to be good. There's a reason why they got Nick Foles, an old dude,
I'm okay with big
as
dick Nick.
insurance, insurance for this dude because they think this guy's going to bust. They made the biggest, worst decision in their life by taking this brother over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. And now they're getting Nick Foles? Come on, man. That's so disrespectful for Mitchell Trubisky.
As a Bears fan, I can't deny that.
Their second overall pick. Are you kidding me? Oh, third? It was third?
Yeah, he was third, I think.
Are you sure?
Or no,
No,
he
he
go
was
second? No,
second.
he went second. You're right.
They traded up.
3-2.
Yeah, they gave up draft capital for a guy from North Carolina. Some man. Oh, he does look like a scrub. He looks like Mitchell. Yes, I saw that face. Stop it. You see Deshaun Watson play football?
He doesn't win.
No, what?
He blew a 24-point lead.
He won in Clemson.
Oh, all right. Clemson. Sure, whatever. I'm talking about the NFL, man. Talking about the NFL.
No shame to losing to Patrick
There's
Mahomes.
shame when you're up 24-0.
No shame. No shame. No shame. Okay, the only reason he got the lead was his defense made some sweet maneuvers, pick six, special teams action got him some free tutties, and then the Kansas City Chiefs show up with their own plays. That's why the league got blown. I do not blame him.
All I can say is, Zoo, if the NFL season keeps going and it ends up working out, I'm just gonna watch you eat your words when the Bears make the playoffs and go all the way to the NFC Championship game.
Right now? You want to think about it?
No, because we don't even know if it's gonna play out. I don't know.
We'll put a disclaimer that if the league gets shut down, this bet is just gone.
All right. Well, we'll discuss off podcast, Zoo.
Off podcast, okay.
All right. Yeah.
Come back next podcast with the wager. There better be one.
There better be one. Yeah.
The Chicago Bears.
Hey, I'm always optimistic about my Bears, and I don't know. Just watch it happen, man. Just watch it happen.
Optimistic about the Bears. Hopefully it's optimistic about the NFL because who knows what's going to happen there. But, guys, that is our time. We got NBA debates, NFL debates, and we have hit them all. So, again, thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of Bullheaded. That was episode 8 of the very first season. Next week, we've got even more basketball. We got more baseball, but I know someone doesn't want to discuss that, so we will pass on baseball. We got baseball, NFL updates. There's going to be at least something with what's going on. So, we've got it all covered here. So, guys, again, thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Bullheaded Debates. I've been Chaz here with P. Bush and Zoo, our host. If you caught us on the YouTube live stream, thank you so much for tuning in early. Please just subscribe to the channel to make sure you're up to date on every time we go live. And if you listen to this podcast on any of our podcasting platforms, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, you name it, we're there. All we ask is you drop a 5-star review and a comment of what you liked about the show so we know what to keep going with moving forward. So again, guys, a lot to talk about next week with more basketball and football coming up. So until then, guys, stay safe, stay heated. We can't emphasize that enough with Bullheaded. Keep on debating, keep on having fun, and we'll talk to you guys next week.